Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, May the 21st, 2026. I'm John Clark. This is the Made in Paradise podcast with my co-hosts, Darren Fingleton and Anthony Ferguson. We're coming to you from Costa Rica, where the weather here is beautiful. It's absolutely the hills are singing kind of a day. And later, we're going to talk about deals. How we sponsor this podcast is by selling stuff. Before we do that, we're going to talk about life. And so this morning, the subject is Anthony Ferguson. And I met Anthony in the very first 60 or 90 days that I lived in Costa Rica and have known him this entire time, so about 16 years, and have spent several of those years in intentional, intense mentoring to teach him things that I knew and to expand his mind. But he has become more than just a team member, but more like family over all of these years. I hope he feels the same way. If he doesn't, know that I pay him to feel that way. So we're going to talk about Anthony today. Darren, I'm going to let you get started. You got some questions for Anthony? Because we did getting to know Darren. Now the audience is dying to know Anthony. So here we go.
All right, Anthony, we've already said it on the podcast, but I think we need to say it again for the people that are just coming in. Where did you grow up in Costa Rica, and what was life like you as a kid?
I grew up in Cahuita, right, which is a small town in Le Monde. It was hard back in the time. There was no electricity. We was living off the sea, the fish, and everything you could get from the sea. So, and my parents had to go and hustle, right? So, yeah, but now we use it as a beautiful place to enjoy, to find peace within you, because it's a nice place. I mean, now we use it as the main income because we have the national park right here. So,
right. It's very beautiful in Cahuita. I mean, you have crystal blue waters, everything like that. I mean, I love it. Every time that I go over there, it feels like, you have that Caribbean vibe to it, and that's exactly how it is there.
Right.
Well, Anthony, tell us about your relationship. How did you meet, and what made you know that she was the one, your wife?
Oh, okay. I was at high school, sorry. And she walked by, and the first thing I saw was her hair, right? Her hair was so like perfectly, and I just asked her, "Can I touch your hair?" And she was like, she was like surprised, right? Like, why someone? I mean, I didn't ask her for phone number or her face, whatever. I was just like fascinated with her hair, right? With her hair. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, can I have contact with it? And she's like, of course. And that's the way we started, right? So anytime she passed by and she see me, she would give me a smile, and I would give her a smile back, right? So that's the way.
And she didn't have she had no vision problems at that time, right?
No.
Well, no, you're happily married, and you got kids, right? You got three kids, right?
Three kids, right?
Beautiful kids, very good kids, smart, highly educated. Have you started teaching them English yet?
Yes. By the way, Nara have had a presentation in English where she has to talk about sport, and she chose football, and she did a very good presentation. It was so good that the teacher said to her that she don't have to do the following 2 homeworks that the rest have to do, because she expressed herself.
Her English was so good.
That's right. She expressed herself.
Can we get her on the podcast a little bit? Can we have like a mini interview? Nora could be like our podcast guest.
Right. Today she's at high school, right? At this moment she's at high school, right? So
right.
I would bring her.
In the future we could do that. Okay. All right, Darren. Keep going.
Well, Anthony, you're clearly a very spiritually curious person. Where did that come from? Was there a moment that opened up that door?
Yeah, can you repeat the question? Sorry, I had a little.
You're a very spiritually curious person.
Right.
When did that door open up for you? When did you become interested in spiritual things?
So my mom died, and then I had this idea that if I learn a little bit more of all the, like, for example, religion, right, and if I could know about God, and I probably had the opportunity to go to heaven, right? That was my
And
thought.
how old were you when your mother died?
11 years old.
So the idea was I can still communicate with my mother if I learn this procedure.
Right. Because I was feeling or thinking that if I do everything correctly, I may have the opportunity to go to heaven and see her one more time and have conversation, whatever. But that was an idea that I had.
Right. Can let me ask, if you had to teach, if your own child had to experience that, right? So your own child lost their mother at 11 years old. What would you explain now? What would you want that child thinking? Because you wouldn't want that child thinking, I need to learn a procedure to talk to my mother, would you? You wouldn't want your child thinking the same thing you were thinking and experiencing that same thing.
Right.
So what would you teach today? What would you teach today if you had to say, okay, well, I have to teach this to one of my children who's lost their mother. What would you teach them?
I already started to teach them that idea, because we all gonna die one day, right? So I have them in this mentality that today I'm gonna be around you guys, but probably tomorrow I'm not. So that's the sequence of life, right? So don't feel surprised or don't feel sad because you have this situation that today you have your mom and tomorrow she's not around, and think that, oh hell, life is bad or life is wicked with me, because that's everyone gonna go through the same state in life, right? You're born today, tomorrow you die, you're dead.
So you sorry, Darren, to interrupt your flow, but you recently lost your sister not too long in the past,
right?
To cancer, right?
Right. Before my brother, my sister.
How did your children see that?
Whew. It was hard because they have their cousin, which was almost the same age, and we was at their house, and they saw all the scene, right? They saw everything, so they was like crying and sad, and so it was hard, right, to explain them that's something that is something normal, right? How you explain a child that's something normal?
Well, there it is, because it's not normal in our society, and we hide it.
And we hide it, right?
If I was dying, I would invite y'all over. Say, you got anything else you want to know? I'm headed out, right? But the truth is our old people, we hide them, and we act like they don't have any value anymore, right? When the truth is that their vision of what they can see and what they can perceive has become much more vivid and accurate. But I'm interrupting the process. Darren, next question for Anthony Ferguson.
No, you're fine.
Here on the Made in Paradise podcast, folks, we have him telling the truth for once. Darren, hit him with another question.
What do most people get wrong about you when they first meet you, Anthony?
That I'm the same as the rest. They would blame
me. Can you go in depth?
Yeah, they would blame me.
They get that really wrong.
Right, they would blame me because probably from where I'm from, I mean, like any other town, you have good people, you have bad people, but it's easy to judge everyone as a bad people, right? So that's the first thing they have wrong for me, and which I agree. I mean, I'm not upset. I would with patience and love show them that I'm different, because I am different, definitely.
I highly agree with that, Anthony. You were definitely apart from the rest. What does a perfect Sunday look like for you?
Wow. Would be amazing what I'm about to say, but a perfect Sunday would be just me and myself. I mean, as my wife, I deeply enjoy spending time with my family, with my wife, with my kids. But sometimes my wife have to take off and go to her mother's house and visit her mother, and she take the kids with her. I enjoy to be with myself. I enjoy it a lot. That would be a perfect Sunday, to be with myself.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. What's the most Costa Rican thing about you that you can't shake? That no matter what you do, it's embedded in your Tico blood.
Wow. Oh hell. Probably how I overreact over certain things that I think is a thing I have as a Costa Rican, right? That probably in this scenario, gringos do not overreact over something like I would definitely
give us an example of that. I want to hear what's an example, something that a gringo's not going to overreact, but a Tico is. What would it be?
For example, let's just do this as an example. We three have you guys have a wife, I have a wife. So Ticos I would overreact if someone give my wife probably a dark view, right? Or he look at my wife a way that I'm like, what was that? Because like they just enjoying my wife. It's okay. She's beautiful. He was like, enjoy her, right? Enjoy her. Right? I know she's beautiful. She's gorgeous.
So jealousy.
Like,
jealousy. Is that what
I think it's much. I think it'd be much more interesting to talk about Kendra's reaction if another woman looked at you.
Right. Yeah.
Because Kendra is a Scorpio and they might get the tail.
Right.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right.
But that concludes my questions. I think it's time to move on to John's. John, what do you got for Anthony?
No.
Here we go.
Well, Anthony's never taken any drug at all. He's never smoked any marijuana, and he's not into alcohol. Has never taken any alcohol except for one time when I took him to Panama. And so, Anthony, tell that story from your perspective. Tell the story of the one alcoholic drink you've had in your life.
It was weird because we were sitting at the table and you guys was drinking, right? And there's this guy, waiter, and he asked me, what do you want for drink? And in Costa Rica, in my country, when we want a soda, we would say, instead of saying ginger ale, we would say a gin, right? And it's a short way to say ginger ale. So I thought I could say the same thing in Panama. So I said, I want a gin. So the guy didn't get that the way I wanted to get it. But so I was sitting at the table and then he bring me the drink. I started to drink it, but I feel the taste was different. So I'm like, probably it's just a Panamanian drink. That's different, right? So I started to drink it and started to keep on. You guys were talking and listening, paying attention, and literally I'm tasting it and saying, this is different. I mean, Costa Rican drink is even better in all sense, right? So then I said, I started to feel dizzy, right? I started to feel dizzy and I'm like, wait a minute. So I look at the glass and I drink it almost all of it, right? I had almost all of it. And I said,
well, it must not have tasted that bad, right? It must not have been that bad for your one and only gin and tonic. And you're 38 now, right? You're 38,
right?
Yeah, 38 years. Your one and only gin and tonic. So how did you feel afterward?
You mean after I realized that it was an alcoholic drink?
Yeah, right. Once you realized that the room was spinning.
Darren, you and Darren were very friends. Darren was like, no problem. I will take it to the bedroom. No problem. I'm not gonna let someone take me to the bedroom. I mean, like, they're gonna laugh, right? And say, oh, he was drunk, and no, I'm like, I gotta do it by myself, right? So
I think.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, please.
I work it out. I think I worked it out good. We went to the bedroom. We were sharing bedroom. So the thing is that probably an hour after, I said, I'm going to the gym. So Darren is like, are you sure? Are you feeling okay to go to the gym? So I'm like, yeah, I need to go to the gym, right? So I go to the gym and I try to like exercise myself. And
that worked it out, right? And you worked it out.
I couldn't. No. I realized I was in the gym staggering, right? I was walking side by side in the gym. I'm like, no.
I never heard that part of the story. You never told me that it was part of the story.
Yeah.
I just remember telling you, just drink a full bottle of water and you'll be fine.
Right. That's right.
So more interesting, Anthony, is that you've lived in Cahuita your entire life. And how many people in Cahuita have an alcohol problem? Okay, so that's a lot. That's a lot, right? An alcohol or a drug problem.
Right.
How did you avoid that your whole life? How did you say that is not for me? I'm not going to, no matter, because you've had some tragedy. You said your mom died and your sister died. You've had tragedy in your life, right? But you've completely avoided any kind of substance use, let alone abuse. You never tried to escape that way when literally it seemed like everybody else around you was doing it. Why not?
Right. Here's the real story about it. I think probably there's a word I cannot say it in English, so I would just switch to Spanish. But I think my mom, like, she knew that she gonna die, so I think she prepared us the most as possible, right? Because I remember she used to call me over and over. She was like in the kitchen. She had a tiny restaurant, and she used to call me and said, "Come, you need to learn how to do this, blah 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 blah." So the thing is that I was growing up and I had bad schoolmates, right? I had bad friends, and they was like, from small age, they used to roll the paper, like the book papers, and use it as a cigarette, right? So one day, my mom saw me trying to roll this like as a cigarette, and she said, "What are you doing?" So I was surprised, right? I was scared. I think she's gonna be hard with me, whatever. And she said to me, "Come, let's take a while. Let's go to the supermarket." It wasn't a supermarket because it was we call it a pulpería. So on the way, we find a lot of homeless and crackhead, right? Drug addict. And she said, "You want to be like one of those?" I'm like, "No." Well, if you continue with a cigarette, probably you're gonna be one of those. So she wasn't like, huh? Yeah, she wasn't.
No,
like,
go ahead. I just said, whoa, I was just surprised when you say, see the crackhead, smoke a cigarette, you're a crackhead. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
So she literally took me, and from 10 years, I used to go to the bar with my sister. She didn't say like to me, like, "No, you cannot go." She just say, "Look, you have to be smart enough to see and choose whatever you want to be in life. Just make sure that you choose whatever you want to be in life." So she didn't like remove all these tests in life from me. Like, "No, let my kid don't go with this friend," or she's like, "No, go. If you want to drink, you could drink. If you want to smoke, you could smoke. You want to thief, you could thief. You could start thieving or whatever. But you know the consequence, right?" And the thing is that I went to school, and there was this fashion that they put the herring, the boys put the herring in there.
Earring.
So, herring, thank you. So this friend of mine said, "Hey, you want me to put a herring on your?" Of course, that's the fashion, right? Of course. So he bore my hair with no
And
knowledge,
antiseptic. Oh no, yeah,
right.
Okay, no knowledge.
A needle.
Right. A needle, right? Exactly. Poof. I'm like, that's it. So we took one of the thing from the broom. The broom have like this a regular broom, right? So you take one of the small thing from the broom, and so I put it in my hair
to hold it open.
That's right. So
Yeah.
I went home, and how am I gonna tell my mother that I wore my hair, right? So
a bristle is the word you're looking for. A bristle from the broom. You took a bristle from the broom
right.
to give it. So it's long, right? So it's long. It's like, so you
Very
go home,
sanitary.
but you have no idea that your mother's going to be upset about this, right?
Right.
Okay.
But the bristle, you cut it, right? You cut it just the size.
Okay. So it's just right there. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Right. So that's right. So just to keep the all perfect shape. So the thing that I said, okay, I gotta tell my mom because she's gonna find out, and if she finds out by herself, it's gonna be worse. So I said, I have to say something to you. So
So you did know it was wrong.
I did.
So you knew she was gonna, and you just did it anyway.
Right, because I was man, right? I was man. I was like,
Heat of the moment with the friends. I get it.
Right. I mean, all the friends have one of those. I want one also. So then I say I have to say this to my mom. So, and I say that to her, and she just walked off. I was at home. I said, "Look what I did," and she walked off. And the next day, surprised me because I'm like, "Oh, I gonna get a hard punishment, right?" And she just came in and she bought for me a gold earring, small tiny gold earring. She said, "You want that?" And I literally took out the broom, whatever, and I let the whole clothes completely. I'm like, no. I'm I'm not that person. I'm not that person.
What was that person? What does that mean, quote unquote, that person? What was that person with the earring? Who was that person?
Because I think she was like, I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna be with you, whatever choice you select for yourself. But I feel like that wasn't going with her teaching, right?
She used reverse psychology on you.
Right, exactly. That was it. She was like, "You're stupid." No, she was like, she didn't say anything. She walked off. She go to the
let's go with it. She said, like, let's just go with it.
And I'm saying, no, I'm not playing with this. And I took it out, and that was it.
Well,
that was the last.
And the thing is when I was a youth minister, right? You see so many different people that do some kind of a body modification when they're young, a tattoo, piercing, or whatever, and then they're sorry about it later.
Right.
And they wish they didn't have it, right? Like tattooing someone's name on you, someone else's name on your body.
Right.
Right. All right, Anthony. So we're at the 21-minute mark, and
wow.
I mean, I could go on for an hour, right? But I want to talk about a pivotal moment in mine and your life, because at this moment that I'm going to talk about, I was living at Costa Creole there with the alligator.
Right.
And we had been having many philosophical discussions about the Bible. And you would come to work like every day, and you would have another Bible question, another one, another. There just seemed to be endless amounts of questions. Do you remember that time?
Of course.
When all my children were little and all that, and we were and every day we were asking. And then one day, I think it was like I don't know if it was a Saturday or Sunday, but you were definitely off, and you came to the gate and you knocked on the gate. And when I opened the gate, you were very upset and crying. Do you remember that?
Because I remember that.
And so I've told that story in front of you several times. But now I think I need you to tell that story. I come to the gate and I find you at the gate and you're crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? And then you take it from, and then what happened next? Uh-oh.
Right. Sorry?
Hang on, Anthony. We lost you for just a minute. Your internet blipped out for just a minute. So start over.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So we're at the gate. I find you at the gate. What happens next?
But right before the gate, the thing is that, okay, my girlfriend, she told me I'm pregnant. So I have a good relationship with my parents, but it wasn't that deep, like to say, you know what, I'm feeling upset or I'm feeling sad. So when I started to work with you, we have all this conversation, and you wasn't only my boss, you was like my mentor, my grandfather, right? That listened to the youth and advise him. So I feel this confidence when I'm next to you, that I could say, I could express myself correctly. So the thing is that Kenny told me, I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh shit, as a teenager, I didn't have my...
And how old are you at this time?
Wow. Can't recall, honestly. What, 21 years probably?
Yeah, 20, 21.
Right, 20. Right. So I'm like, how am I gonna say this to my parents, right? My dad, my sister. They would say, "You're stupid. Why did blah blah blah?" So don't
forget about the church component, right?
Oh, please, right. The thing is, I started to go to church, believing that if I do everything correctly, I may have the opportunity to go to heaven and meet my mom and all that story. And I was a deacon, the person who get the money from the people, walk around and collect the money. So I was like having a job in the church, right? A free job, obviously. So they every Saturday wait for me and Anthony, whatever, happy Saturday. So if they knew that my girlfriend and I wasn't married, are pregnant, they would say, you are not allowed, you cannot come to the church anymore, right? So I was worried. I was very, very worried. So I went to your house. So
we got the parents in the church, and you come to my house and disturb my peace. open the gate. There's the gate. There's Anthony in tears. And what happens next?
And then you are like always calm, right? Because that's something that I admire a lot. That people, when see someone that worried, they become worried as well. What happened? What happened? No, you were like, okay, calm down.
Well, you said, and I quote, "My life is over."
Oh,
I mean, that was a pretty big statement, right? And what you were meaning was the image of me in everyone's mind is shattered.
right.
Right? Because I have this image, I'm supposed to be this good guy who doesn't have sex before marriage, and now my girlfriend is pregnant.
Right, exactly. Thank you. I cannot express myself that way in English. I wish it would be a day, but exactly, that was the idea. How I gonna say to them, I'm not that guy you think I were, right? I was, or I am. And
but in that moment, you were 10 out of 10 stressed out, right? You were at the maximum amount of stress. And at 38 years old, as you look back now, right? You look back on this and all of that, right?
Right.
Rewind all that time and you say, was that really that big of a deal?
No, but wait a minute. I didn't have to wait that amount of time. I sat with you. You sat with me, and an hour after, I realized that this wasn't a big deal. You make me realize that, come on, and you guide me in the feelings that it's not a big deal. You're making a big deal of nothing, right? So then that was the conversation I needed in that moment.
I just got to ask you though, before you even had that conversation with John, were you thinking, I got to get married right now with her? We got to maintain my image. I got to get married right now.
No. Honestly, in that moment, I could see all the scenarios where people like blocking me, like say, "Oh, you're evil, you're wicked, you're stupid." So I was seeing all these scenarios in my mind, and I was like, "Oh, I felt guilty, right? Even before."
And none of that happened. And none of that happened. That was all wasted thought.
Right.
And energy. It's like driving around in circles, just wasting your gas. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And your speech was so good. That I have 2 more kids after that.
And the third one is so handsome. We're still thinking it's yours, but then, All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's been our talk with Anthony Ferguson today, which, is going to go on later as we explore more. But today, right now, we're going to talk about some deals. This is the Made in Paradise podcast, sponsored by Proven Performer. That's the 3 guys on the screen. We do big closeout deals. That's how we sponsor our podcast. Today, on this beautiful Thursday, we're going to talk about a few closeouts. Anthony, what a ride you gave us today, man.
All right, fun. Good. I enjoyed it.
Now, I was just recently, and when I mean recently, in the last couple of hours, learning all about the danger of Christmas tree fires. Darren, you said that you had some amazing facts about Christmas tree fires. Tell us that again. Tell it for our audience listening at home. Tell them about the dangers of Christmas tree fires.
It's a fun fact. I mean, I had no idea until we started doing this research, but U.S. firefighters respond to roughly 200 Christmas tree fires every year, and they are among the most deadliest home fires.
Right. Christmas tree home fires are, would you say, 4 times deadlier than the normal home fire?
Yeah, well, it's one death per 32 occurrences.
Whoa.
In comparison to 1 death to 143 that are not related to Christmas tree fires.
Now, when we were talking about this earlier, I said to Anthony, you wouldn't have thought that a Christmas tree would be dangerous. He's like, I think they're dangerous. I think for sure they're dangerous. So this closeout from Safer Alarms, who is apparently the leader in Christmas tree alarms, we have 6,000 of these units. They retail at $49.95. They are bulk packed, just as you see. So they are not in a retail package. This is definitely an internet play. Could be for a whatnot seller that does a bunch of Christmas stuff, right?
Not a bad idea.
This is the time to buy Christmas and get a deal. Not look for it in October. So the safer alarm, 6,000 pieces in bulk packaging. That's what it looks like right there. I think this is going to have to be sold like as a gift item. This could be a good, bundle pack item. Somehow buy a Christmas tree, get a free Christmas tree alarm kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Because we found out this morning, this fact surprised me that you said 10% of America, right? They're still selling 30 million live Christmas trees. Yeah, that's a lot of live Christmas trees. And a lot of people that might be thinking, I'd be safer if I had a Christmas tree alarm.
Exactly.
6,000 pieces, retail $49, $5 a piece is the asking price. Reach out to us. FOB Texas, sir. Reach out to us at the number below or our email. We'd be happy to talk to you about the safer alarms. The second item today is from Kokomo Soul. These are baseball and softball lady sandals. So if you're trying to get your lady in the mood to come out to the ballpark and watch the sweaty guys play one more game, why not buy her a pair of these baseball or softball sandals? Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got an idea. I mean, when I first saw them, I didn't think that they were associated with baseball or softball. I just thought, okay, well, that's just the design of them. And the name is Kokomo Soul, so I don't see how that connects with baseball or softball. Am I missing something there? I mean, Kokomo reminds me of the Tom Cruise movie, right? What was it? Cocktail?
Yeah,
way down in Kokomo. Kokomo Soul. So it's Kokomo Soul, but it's baseball and softball sandals. There are 4,900 units of the baseball sandals, 2,400 of the softball. They're polybagged. They don't have a hang tag. They're in size runs, and the size runs are listed there. We'd be happy to send it to you. Again, sandals from Kokomo Soul retail for $29 to $39.95. Your cost $2. Take them all. $2, ladies and gentlemen. And the last one I want to talk about today was just coming up as we were about to record the podcast. Darren, you can scroll up there just very slowly. This is 1,800 ceiling fans, all Home Depot brand, 52 inches, 48 inches, 60 inches, 1,800 units in total. We're just getting the information on this. So if you're interested in the ceiling fans, please reach out to us at the phone numbers below on WhatsApp or via email. And hopefully by the time you email us, we will have all the details on these brand new ceiling fans, 50 pallets, 1,800 units, all brand new Home Depot brands. And of course, it's going to be an incredible price. So reach out and let us know. Please like and subscribe if you liked our life conversation or our deal conversation, because there's going to be a whole lot more of it. We do it every day, Monday through Friday, the Made in Paradise podcast with Anthony Ferguson, Darren Fingleton, and of course me, John Clark, the dude.
The dude.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Later.